सत्यमयी परमे आनंदमयी चैतन्यमयी सत्यमयी परमे आनंदमयी चैतन्यमयी सत्यमयी परमे ओम नमो भगवते श्री अरविंदाय। Namaste to all. Today the topic for the session is memorable moments with the mother. In fact, while we were cleaning all the old books when we were renovating the bhavan, so we were just, whoever gathered there, we were just discarding some of the old and some torn books. So in the process, though this book looked like a old one to me, but when I saw inside, none of the page was torn. It was in a good condition, though outside book is like this, but all the pages were intact. So this caught my attention. The very description is very delightful. Memorable moments with the mother. Then I thought of retaining this book and just took it to my home and then started reading. And then I felt that I should share some of the experiences of the sadhaks who were very close with the mother and Sri Aurobindo. And MP Pandit ji has compiled them so beautifully in this book, the beautiful experiences of the sadhak. So then I just felt like, why should I enjoy this rasa and a joy for myself? Let me also share with my other co-sadhaks. So therefore now, instead of branding this as a talk, so I can say that we all will listen to it and think about it and reflect upon it. And we also know that to be always close to the mother is a profound happiness. In fact, this is there in the mother book, the Mahalakshmi, Sri Aurobindo wrote that, the mother book. So Sri Aurobindo describes to be always close to the mother is a profound happiness. And the sadhaks who were with the mother during those times were really feeling so much joy, and the companionship of the mother and the master with them really helped them to elevate their consciousness levels and change their lifestyle completely. That's how. And as a preface, MP Pandit ji in this book says what was the most memorable moment with the mother. To this question, many answered in many ways. The best answer was that every moment spent with the mother was memorable, and it was difficult to say one was more memorable than other. With mother, everything is memorable. Now coming to Lalita's experience, because I don't want to put any words of mine in between the experiences of the sadhak, because it may not be justified, or I am not justifying the today's session itself if I add anything. So therefore I would like to read the verbatim of the experience of the sadhak. Lalita, this, wherever I feel like adding something, I will just add it. Lalita, this experience is this. I cannot truthfully say which was my most memorable moment with the mother. This is because all of us who had lived in the ashram in those early days have known many such moments. There were only a few of us at that time, and we enjoyed a rare intimacy with her. I give some instances below which have left an indelible mark on my consciousness, and which may perhaps be of interest to others who came later. It was in February 1928. 80 years after the mother has joined in the ashram, because 24th April 1920 the mother came and permanently settled at Pondicherry. That's how we are also going to celebrate the Darshan Day on coming 24th April, as all of us know. She says, it was in February 1928. The occasion was my first darshan of Sri Aurobindo. On the eve of the Darshan Day, the mother called me in the morning to the meditation hall upstairs, and after a few words, she slipped a string of pearls over my head. Then she gave me a pale gold satin saree with a border of gold and silver sequins. The saree was quite new. I had offered it to her soon after my arrival in the ashram on December 16, 1927. Mother says, "You must wear these when you come for Sri Aurobindo's darshan tomorrow," she said with her charming smile. "Wear these, mother?" I asked in astonishment. "But why? I had been looking forward to wearing a simple cotton saree like the other sadhikas." Because after looking Sri Aurobindo, we also feel that we are also nothing, despite we wear so much of gold and ornaments. These are all totally immaterial. Sri Aurobindo's appearance, as all of us know, it's very, very simple. Then the mother says, "Because it is my wish," answered the mother, and smiled as only she could. I do not know what more to say, for if such was her wish, I would certainly obey. I fell at her feet and embraced them with all my heart's love. This means, through this, we can also understand that the sadhaks just used to obey the command and will of the divine, because the divine wished that she should appear in that form before Lord Sri Aurobindo. So therefore there is in Bhagavad Gita also we have Arjuna saying to Sri Krishna is, "Karishye vachanam tava," I shall act according to your instructions, he says. This is in 18th chapter, Bhagavad Gita 18th chapter 73 sloka. He says, "By your grace my illusion has been dispelled. I am situated in knowledge," because Arjuna says to Sri Krishna, "By your grace my illusion has been dispelled." This is in Karma Sannyasa Yoga 18th chapter. "I am situated in knowledge. I am now free from doubts, and I shall act according to your instructions." That means Karishya Vachanam Tapa. So mother willed and wished. She just obliged it. Then another experience of her, Lalitadi. A couple of months after this, the mother called me and asked if I knew manicuring. Manicuring, pedicure and manicure. This cleaning of this nails, hands nails. Pedicure is this legs nails. A couple of months after this, the mother called me and asked if I knew manicuring. I said, "Yes, mother," because I knew it only too well. Then you will come on Friday and manicure my nails, she said. How fortunate to get an opportunity to do manicure for the Divine Mother. Lalita Di has got such an opportunity. Thus every Friday became a heavenly day for me, whose fragrant memory it is impossible to forget. At that time there was only one story atop Mother's building, and everything took place either on the ground floor or the first floor. The second story came much later. At the end of the meditation hall there is the small room which was then used by the Mother and Sri Aurobindo for giving darshan. Against the wall of this room was a small couch with some cushions. Mother used to sit on this couch with her legs stretched out in front of her, and I used to sit quite close to her on the carpet. She would give me one of her hands as well as the manicuring articles. Then closing her eyes, she would gradually go into a deep trance. Samadhi state loki vellipoyevaru Mother. After finishing the nails of this hand, I would sit very still, holding her hand, till she came out of trance. Then with a sweet smile, she would give me her other hand. And while I was doing it, she would recount to me her vision or experience if it had anything to do with me. I learned a great deal from her in this way, even about my past lives when I had been with her. If I had anything to ask or to say to her, this was my chance to do so. Still, I rarely bothered her with questions. When I told her that I did not seem to know much about yoga or real sadhana, she only smiled and assured me that it was she who was doing the sadhana, and so I was not to worry about it. This we come across many times in many talks. These are all experiences of the sadhaks only. And just this Lalita Di asked the Mother that I do not know how to do sadhana and this yoga. Then to that query, the Mother very sweetly replies that and smiled and assures that it is she who is doing sadhana and nothing to worry about it. Time was of no consequence in those golden days, and just as she had written in her prayers and meditations, and the hours pass away like dreams unlived. After the manicure was over and I had made my pranam to her, she would lead me to the door of the meditation hall, holding me so close to her at times, with her hand round my waist and mine round hers. We were just two very intimate friends, or rather she was Radha and I was her companion Lalita. As Sri Aurobindo had written when he so graciously changed my name. Then Mother would open the door and let me out with a sweet arrow or a kiss on my forehead. How could I forget these moments? I would go home in a trance of ecstasy and live in their memory till the next Friday came along. What a beautiful experience. People wondered why I never spoke to anybody, never even cared to look at or want to know anybody. My sweet and dearest Mother was everything to me, and I had no need of anything else. Those were the days when our sadhana was on the higher planes, but then she became very ill and everything had to be changed after that. So that's why the sadhak had more faith, sincerity and surrender towards the divine. In the Mother book also Sri Aurobindo says, the more complete your faith, sincerity and surrender, the more will grace and protection be with you. And when grace and protection of the Divine Mother is with you, what is there that can touch you and whom need you fear? So therefore, it is incumbent on the part of all of us, and we should develop that kind of a faith, complete faith, because faith is the surest guide in the darkest days. So we should have that much of faith towards the divine, and also sincerely and silently do her work and open to her always. Then one more experience of Lalita Di. Somebody had written some very nasty things about me to Mother or Sri Aurobindo, and as was her habit, she had told me about it. I do not remember who it was, but a strange thing happened soon after. The very person who had complained about me had to seek my assistance to convey something to the mother, and I was requested to pray for her kind intervention. Who think one, maybe the other sadhak probably gave a complaint about this Lalita Di to the mother, and the very same person who gave a complaint against this Lalita Di just wanted a favor and a convey message to the mother and pray for her. And then she says, Mother, this request has come from this lady. And then mother says, what? Said the mother in surprise when I spoke to her about it. He said those bad things about you, and now you come to ask me to help him? Oh, I said. Lalita is saying, oh, I said, I had forgotten that completely. Mother was so pleased to hear this, that her whole face lit up with a wonderful sweetness, which I have never forgotten. That is the right thing to do, my child, she said. You must never nurse a grudge or ill feeling against anybody. And it made me feel very happy. So in the life also we encounter many situations like that, of expressing some kind of a disinterest towards someone or developing some kind of a hatred, jealousy. We carry all those things along with us. It really spoils us and pulls our consciousness down only. And Lalita Di just, when the mother says that the person, the complaint was lodged against you and the complaint was reached to me, and now you say that you have completely forgotten, and mother is completely pleased with her attitude, Lalita Di's attitude, and says that this is the right thing to do, to forget such things. Says you must never nurse a grudge or ill feeling against anybody. Then the other experience, and last time also in the session we also said these are all life's cherished guests, Aurobindo says. So they have to be left outside from us. Then only the spark of the divinity will arise and continue to flame it, and it elevates our consciousness. As long as we are all surrounded by all those ill feelings or hatred, so we are not making this platform ready. The other experience of Lalita Di, when it was decided that I must leave the ashram for some time because of circumstances beyond my control, and also because of the necessity of working out certain things in me that were a great obstacles to my progress, the mother was extremely gracious to me, because the Lalita Di just wanted to go out of the ashram because of some circumstances, and those things were creating some hurdles to elevate her consciousness or coming in her way to progress. So therefore she just wanted to leave the ashram for some time. At the time of my departure, I was all alone with her in her dressing room where I used to work. Mother came and placed round my neck a garland of tulasi beads, just as she had placed a string of pearls round my neck at the time of my first darshan of Sri Aurobindo. Since you must go, she said, You must go like a crusader, carrying the torch of truth with you. Mother is giving advice that since you have to go out of this ashram, crusader, carry this truth along with you wherever you go. Carrying the torch of truth with you. You must go like a crusader, carrying the torch of truth with you. Keep it burning always. Not only carrying is enough, keep it burning always and do not let it be extinguished. అందుకే మనము మదర్ రూమ్లోకి వెళ్తూ ఉంటే శ్రీ అరవింద ఆశ్రమం కూడా అక్కడ మనకి ఒక చిన్న బోర్డు ఉంటుంది. వీ ఫైండ్ ఎ స్మాల్ బోర్డ్ దేర్. ఇట్ షోస్ క్లింగ్ టు ట్రూత్. Then continuing this, you must go like a crusader, carrying the torch of truth with you. Keep it burning always and do not let it be extinguished. Yes, mother, I said, sobbing, for it was very difficult to leave her. Then I made my pranam to her, and when I rose, I saw for the first time some tears in mother's eyes. See, the Divine Mother, the concern towards her children. When I rose, I saw for the first time some tears in mother's eyes. Oceanic love and compassion towards all of us that we can understand. The mother was, she could see the tears in mother's eyes. They were not because of the parting, but because she could see what great suffering was in store for me. A thing about which I was totally ignorant. Such was her unbounded love. So mother was not able to withstand that kind of a difficulty that was going to be faced by Lalita-di. Because she was going out of the ashram, the mother foresees her difficulties. And tears were rolling down from her eyes. Because she sensed that this Lalita-di was facing so much difficulty, she could not control her tears. If you stay there for good, she said, your soul will leave the body. Then I begged of her never to forget me. And she said, that is not possible, my child. And throughout my time outside the ashram, she has constantly kept me in touch with her. And so has my Lord Sri Aurobindo. My soul did on several occasions try to leave the body, just as mother had said, and each time she was informed about it. It was made to continue its earthly experience, by which it has greatly profited, and no matter what I may say or do, I can never be sufficiently grateful to my beloved divine parents for this. Then the humor of mother we can understand through this. The another experience of the Lalita-di. In those early days, I used to prepare some ragi biscuits for Sri Aurobindo and take them to mother at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. This was also a chance for me to ask her anything I wanted to know. So one day I said to her, Mother dear, I have a bad cold. Lalita-di is informing to the mother, because people, the sadhaks used to reveal everything. Mother dear, I have a bad cold. Mother said in surprise. Then smiling sweetly she added, you are in good company. Sri Aurobindo also has a cold. మీ ఇద్దరు సరిపోయారు. నీకు ఆయనకి కోల్డ్ ఉంది, నీకు కోల్డ్ ఉంది. You are in good company. Sri Aurobindo also has a cold. We both laughed at this, and then I asked, but what is the remedy? Oh, the remedy. Mother said, and was silent for a long moment. Then looking far away, she continued, every morning after your bath, you sit in front of an open window with the sunlight falling over your body, and you pray to the Lord like this: fill my being with thy light. Then you draw in a deep breath and let it out slowly. Next you say, fill my being with thy love, and repeat the breathing exercise. Then lastly you say, fill my being with thy life, and once again you breathe like this, said the mother, demonstrating to me, and your cold will disappear in no time. So 3 wonderful mantras told by mother to her is: fill my being with thy light, fill my being with thy love, fill my being with thy life. With this mantra keeping inside, you just do breathing exercise, and mother says that your cold will disappear in no time. Then Lalita Di says, I was very happy to learn this, and I never doubted the mother's word at any time. So the very next morning I started with this wonderful remedy, and indeed my cold was cured very rapidly. Then one more thing, how mother removes the desires in one, because we create and accumulate many kind of desires, cravings for certain things, and how the mother removes such kind of a craving from this Lalita Di through this experience we can understand. Shortly after my arrival at the ashram in 1927, I told mother that I was very much attached to a cup of tea the first thing in the morning. మనకు కూడా చాలా మంది ఉదయం బ్రష్ చేసుకోగానే we feel like taking a cup of tea, or it's quite common, a cup of tea or a coffee. So that's why Lalita Di also says that I told the mother that I was very much attached to a cup of tea the first thing in the morning. Is that so? Mother said. Then wait a minute. She went inside and brought and gave me a fine box of tea. A fine box of tea. Take this, she said, and make use of it. I was very much surprised, for I thought that mother would give me a scolding which would help me to get over this attachment. Because she was very much attached to that tea in the morning, she thought that the mother would scold, that you have to remove this kind of a craving, desire. But the divine has its own ways of curing us. తాను ఒకటి తలిస్తే దైవం ఒకటి తలుస్తూ ఉంటామే మనము. So divine has a completely different scheme and a plan. If we ask for it, a handful of chocolate he will give us. But if he wants to give ocean of chocolates with us, we are ourselves are restricting to it by asking it. Then continuing experience, I took the box home and said to myself that I would open and use it when necessary. Day after day passed, but I felt no desire to have any more tea. Still I kept the box with me in case I felt that craving once again. But it seemed to have disappeared for good. So I finally took the box back to mother and gave it to her, saying, Mother dear, you seem to have taken away the desire for the cup of tea in the morning, which was so essential to me once. So I have brought this back to you. Mother was very pleased to hear this, and with one of her sweetest smiles she said, when I give something like this to a person, I also give the power to overcome the attachment. So a beautiful Very fascinating. Mother says, when I give something like this to a person, I also give the power to overcome the attachment. And I am glad you were able to do so. I fell at her feet and embraced them with all my love and gratitude. One more experience of her. Like whenever we feel very much depressed and despair, and Lalita also had encountered such problem. So in that regard, she reveals her experience. One day I was very much upset about something. I don't remember what it was. But evidently it was something trivial and a very petty, small one. So when I went to mother that afternoon, I told her all about it. And probably shed a few tears also. Sometimes we also face such a situation that unknowingly, endukondi chala depressed ga undi, I'm feeling very disgusted and very disinterested, I'm not having any kind of an interest and feeling depressed. We also encounter such kind of situation sometimes, knowingly or unknowingly. The mother was surprised to see me in this most unyogic condition. But being so sweet and compassionate, she did not scold me. She only smiled and said after a while. See, look at the way the mother, treats all her children. Mother never said that you should not have this and you can't do it because a military discipline. She treats everyone with so much love. She did not scold me, she only smiled and said after a while, "My dear child, the next time you feel like this, go and sit on the sands of the seashore in the evening. Look at the vast expanse of water in front of you. See how it stretches to the far horizon. Watch the hundreds of waves which come playfully to the shore and then recede. Let your consciousness become as wide as the ocean." We should also make an attempt to make our consciousness so wide as the ocean. Then look up at the great expanse of sky above you. Think of the infinity of space in which the stars move. Each star is a world by itself. And there are millions and millions of them. They are so far away that it has taken hundreds of light years for their light to reach us. And you know how great is the speed of light? You must have noticed the Milky Way in the sky. How many stars are there that we have seen? And how many millions of them which perhaps we shall never see even with our latest telescopes? That means mother is saying that the universe is so expansive. Think of all these wonders in time and space which are nothing but a small part of the infinite manifestation of the divine. And he is so much greater than all this. Divine is so much greater than all this, mother says. He whom we are here to realize and with whom we have to unite in consciousness. Just think of all this and you will soon feel the absurdity of your small troubles and forget them. Whatever the petty and limited consciousness that all of us, mother says that we have to unite our consciousness with that of the widened consciousness of the universe. So therefore we will not feel our petty or trivial problems as so great to us. They are all immaterial and become very insignificant that way. I felt so uplifted to hear all this from our sweet mother that I forgot my troubles and even laughed at them. And mother was very pleased and sent me away with her blessings and a bouquet of tiny roses, the significance of which is tendresse, means rose is a symbol of love. So mother gave a bouquet of tiny roses to her. From that very evening, I did exactly what I was told. That means going to the nearby shore and sitting and observing the expansive sea shores and that waves going back. I not only sat at the seashore but stretched myself on the sands and gazed at the beautiful stars overhead. For at that time there was quite a good bit of sand on the seashore. The sea was not so close as it is today, because this was in 1927. And as I gazed at the stars day after day, a strange thing happened. I saw them moving in the skies. They were moving at a fast speed, yet so harmoniously, and so vast was the space that separated them that the movement seemed to make very little difference to their positions. I looked over and over again to make sure that I was not imagining things, but they were distinctly moving. Then, one more experience, she reveals. I once asked the mother, how could I speak of loving others when my love was given to the divine? Mother, when I have given complete love to you, how should I love the others? That was her question. I once asked mother, how could I speak of loving others when my love was given to the divine? Mother looked up. She was silent for a moment and then said, you know how the Christians have a way of saying love in Christ. So you can also say love in the mother. Thereafter I have had no problem. For me it is one love, the mother's love, and I share it with all. In loving I emanate mother's love, and in loving others I love the mother in them. So beautiful. Let us read it again. For me it is one love, the mother's love, and I share it with all. In loving I emanate mother's love, and in loving others I love the mother in them. Divine in all in the divine. One more experience of another sadhak, Nagin Doshi. His experience is this. In the late 50s, I was once watching the mother during the blessings ceremony at the ashram playground. In the late 50s, I was once watching the mother during the blessing ceremony at the ashram playground. I was not in meditation. Since sometimes I enjoyed looking at her with my external self. Suddenly I perceived with my eyes wide open the plane from which the mother had come down to this earth. It was a height I had never even conceived of before. So when next I met her at an interview, I told her about my vision and particularly about the plane of her origin. అంటే ఆకాశం నుంచి అంత దిగివస్తున్నట్టుగా అంత అద్భుతమైనటువంటి ప్రకాశమైనటువంటి రూపంగా he had such vision of the mother, because everybody in the mother's playground, everybody closed their eyes and meditating. He just felt like opening his eyes and saw the mother, and then he had this kind of a vision. Then I told her about my vision and particularly about the plane of her origin. When she said it was true, I wept before her. Realizing how little even the old sadhaks of the ashram know of her and how meager a benefit we were deriving from her great sacrifice of being with us on the earth. Triple poise of the divine we know: individual, universal and transcendental. The divine Mahashakti, Jagajanani is there in this individual, universal and transcendental. When the mother used to play on the organ, the higher gods and goddesses, so said Sri Aurobindo, used to come down to listen to her music. When the mother used to play on the organ, the higher gods and goddesses, so said Sri Aurobindo, used to come down to listen to her music. Her life on earth was always a paradox for us. We could not understand her actions, however much we tried with good intentions. It's a divine Leela. With our limited human mind, sometimes we may not be able to perceive things. It was perhaps because she held three divine aspects in her single self. That means individual, universal and transcendental. It was perhaps because she held three divine aspects in her single self. This truth is well explained by Sri Aurobindo in response to one of my numerous queries about her. I had asked, does the mother carry the full divine Shakti in her? This Nagindoshi ji, asked Sri Aurobindo, does the mother carry the full divine Shakti in her? Sri Aurobindo replied like this: there is one divine force which acts in the universe and in the individual and is also beyond the individual and the universe. There is one divine force which acts in the universe and in the individual and is also beyond the individual and the universe. The mother stands for all these, but she is working here in the body to bring down something not yet expressed in this material world, so as to transform life here. It is so that you should regard her as the divine Shakti working here for that purpose, to bring a transformation into all our lives. Mother has taken her birth on this earth. She is that in the body, but in her whole consciousness she is also identified with all the other aspects of the divine force, though she is in this form. That's why we say that when we pray to the Divine Mother in this limited form, we are restricting her force only to a limited extent, around maybe 20 to 30%. But if we see the Divine Mother in each and every aspect of life outside and inside of us, she is there everywhere. And that's why in connection with this, I think Satprenji, I think ask Mother, you are Adishakti, and you are feeling some kind of illness. Why don't you cure yourself? Obviously, if she wanted, she could have cured herself. Then Mother replies, I have taken this birth on this earth in this human form. I should oblige the rule of law of this earth. One is subjected to all these, kadandi, mana human body. It is subjected to cold and illness and everything. And the mother beautifully replies to Satprenji that I should obey the rule of law of the earth. Then one more experience of the sadhak by name Dakshinapada Bhattacharya. This was in the year 1936, before independence. It was in 1936 that I first came to the ashram. I was once listening to a song by Dilip Kumar Roy. All of a sudden I saw Sri Aurobindo sitting there in a majestic posture with a globe in his hands. The globe was revolving and he was molding it. Probably Sri Aurobindo was holding the globe like this and just revolving it like this. Sri Aurobindo sitting there in a majestic posture with the globe in his hands. The globe was revolving and he was molding it. I could see that if he wanted to, he could break it up and build a new one. I looked aside and was dumbfounded to see a number of goddesses standing in adoration before him. Rubbish, I said, for to our Bengali way of seeing. The Shakti, the Devi, was paramount and the whole world paid homage to her. I was disturbed. Seeing my condition, it was suggested to me to write a letter to Sri Aurobindo, which I did. Sri Aurobindo sent me word to see the mother. Accordingly, I went to the mother during pranam. She told me that she would see me later. After 2 days, she sent for me and gave me an interview. I explained to the mother that all along I had worshipped Chandi and Chandi was supreme to me, because in Bengali they were completely in dedication and adoring Chandi. And he was explaining to the mother that all along I had worshipped Chandi and Chandi was supreme to me. Immediately the mother pulled up her sari folds a little and stretched forth her feet, on one of which was a gold bracelet. The moment she did so, there was a terrific impact on me and I felt, here is Chandi. And I embraced her feet and wept. Ultimately, this Dakshinapada Bhattacharyaji saw the Chandi whom he adored. He saw Chandi Devi in the mother and he embraced her feet and wept. Then one more experience of him. One day when I was sitting alone in my house, a question came to me, why mother played music on the organ now and then. No sooner had the thought formulated itself than a voice came booming. Do you think the mother is playing music to please your ear? Deep inside some voice came that, do you really think that the mother is playing music to please your ear? I was taken aback. I remained quiet and a letter formed itself, which I typed forthwith and sent to the mother. The letter reads as this. Am I right in saying that when the mother plays on the organ, certain chords of music create the necessary vibration for the manifestation of the higher force, which the mother wants to establish on earth? His question. I'll repeat the question, what he wrote. Am I right in saying that when the mother plays on the organ, certain chords of music create the necessary vibrations for the manifestation of the higher force, which the mother wants to establish on earth? This is his question. To this the mother answered, when somebody lives in a higher consciousness, the vibrations of this higher consciousness are manifested in whatever this person does, says or thinks. These higher vibrations are manifested by the very fact of the presence of this person upon earth. Blessings. I was very much moved by the message. Mother's humility in not speaking of herself struck me and made a deep impression. Incidentally, it puts a certain responsibility on us who claim to be open to the mother and to be her disciples and children. We should always be, that's why, remember and offer, and always open to her force. We have got to see that in all that we do, say or think, we should be worthy of her. Our lives must be in tune with her vibrations. Then one more experience of another sadhak by name Magan Bhai Desai. This was after the Sri Aurobindo's leaving the body in 1954. It was in May 1954. When I entered the mother's room, it was almost dark. There was a single bulb of very low wattage overhead. I sat at the Divine's feet. After pranam, I looked up. The Divine Mother's face was suffused in a brilliant but very serene light. The Divine Mother's face was suffused in a brilliant but very serene light. The whole face glowed and waves of light emanated from it. It was eggshell blue of unspeakable beauty. I could not take my eyes off her face. కన్నులు ఆవిడ చూడకుండా తప్పించుకోలేక అలాగా he was just gazing this. I could not take my eyes off her face. After some time I lost consciousness, and when I regained it, I was at her feet and her hand was resting lightly on my head. She concentrated her gaze on me for a few minutes, smiled beautifully and nodded. That night I slept soundly and peacefully like a child. The light was always there. It is so even now. This is Magan Bhai Desai's experience. And one more experience of P.K. Pradhanji. Because the sadhaks also used to visit the Mother and Sri Aurobindo on their birthdays also. So July 7th, 1967, this P.K. Pradhanji's birthday. So he reveals his experience. It was my birthday, July 7th, 1967. As her door opened, I saw the Mother, the Divine, sitting in the center of the room. She was in a white dress and all smiles and grace. She was all joy, all bliss incarnate. She was enchanting, marvelous, wonderful. I cannot describe. Words are too poor. From her were emanating clouds of intensely powerful, delightful white light. The light was moving, forming circles upon circles around her. The room was flooded with light. A foot in front of her heart center was a small circle of different colors, a rare sight. It was moving with great speed. She was the Divine Mother. As I entered the room, I was drawn towards her. I ran to her like a child who finds his mother after a long search. So beautiful. I ran to her like a child who finds his mother after a long search. I offered my pranams by putting my head in her lap. She looked into my eyes. My whole being was not only drawn but was flooded with her force. My every nerve was in bliss. Every nerve was in bliss. I was standing there looking at her and quenching my thirst. I had absolutely no desire left. I was all hers. Then one more experience of Kamala Kantoji. During those days I used to walk the distance from
Casanova Gardens to the ashram every day to attend the mother's blessings. One day, as I was waiting in the queue, a particular well-wisher approached me saying, "Have you sought mother's permission to stay here permanently?" Somebody asked, "Have you sought mother's permission to stay here permanently?" I said, "No, I feel very hesitant to ask. Moreover, she knows my heart. And one day when I am worthy of it, she might command." నేను ఉండదలుచుకుంటే ఆవిడ కమాండ్ చేసేస్తుంది, but I did not ask, he says. He looked at me skeptically and moved away. When I reached the mother, I outstretched my hands to receive her blessings. She glanced at me and said sweetly, "My child," whatever he thought, staying back at ashram, mother was already understood. She glanced at me and said sweetly, "My child, you wanted to stay with the mother, now you can." A miracle happened. A fulfillment stared me in the face. With tears flowing from my eyes, I touched her feet twice and muttered somehow, "Let thy will be done in my life, Ma." Let thy will, we may have to remember this, let thy will be done. Not our own will. Let thy will be done in my life, Ma. With misty eyes, I fumbled out of the meditation hall, much to the bewilderment of the onlookers. All of them thought that it was my birthday. All showered their good wishes on me, and truly it was my real birthday. For at last I was given the opportunity to work and pray. Then one more sadhak's experience by name Parmaj. It was in March 1968 that I first got the opportunity of going to the mother for pranam. As I entered her room, I felt as if I was swimming in a sea of light. I put my head on mother's knees and then on her feet. I experienced a great thrill. When I got up, I hardly knew myself. They used to lose the complete consciousness. They used to forget about themselves when they were approaching the mother. I experienced a great thrill. When I got up, I hardly knew myself. As I started moving away from the mother, glancing at her repeatedly, mother burst into laughter. The sound of her laughter filled me completely. All other noises and voices were obliterated. My whole being participated in a moment of ecstasy. The limbs were paralyzed, so to speak, and it was with difficulty that I came down the stairs and reached the samadhi. People nearby were looking at me strangely. I reached my lodging in this indrawn state. He was completely withdrawn himself. I reached my lodging in this indrawn state, oblivious of the traffic on the roads, and forgetful of the traffic and everything. And he was totally completely in a trance after seeing the mother. I reached my lodging in this indrawn state, oblivious of the traffic on the roads. I remained in this state for 3 days. Then the very same person will complete it in another 2-3 minutes. It was a darshan day. Along with others, I was seated near the samadhi for meditation. I was concentrating over my head. Around 10:20 a.m. I felt something as if someone dealt me a crashing blow with an axe on the crown of my head. Immediately a force rushed down from above into my Mooladhara. I opened my eyes and looked around. All was quiet. గొడ్డలితో ఒకసారి ఇట్లా పెట్టినట్టుగా ఆయన తల మీద he felt that. A force rushed down from above into my Mooladhara. I opened my eyes and looked around. All was quiet. People were meditating. I closed my eyes, but the memory of the experience persisted. I was sure that mother had effected something in me at that moment. Then, on May 28, 1972, which was my birthday of this Parmaji, on May 28, 1972, which was my birthday, I went to mother for pranam. I was in a dilemma, at a confused state of mind. I did not know whether to make pranam quickly and move away without taking much time of the mother, especially since she had not been well, or to wait till she smiled and nodded her head in her usual way. The sadhaks also used to have a very much concern for the mother also, because one sadhak, I don't know, I forgot his name, that how much of his mother's hand would pain, because mother goes on giving the flowers continuously, and one sadhak was constantly thinking she was not at all coming and receiving it. So he was just feeling that how much of her hand would pain, because patiently she goes on giving it. Then I did not know whether to make pranam quickly and move away without taking much time of the mother, especially since she had not been well, or to wait till she smiled and nodded her head in her usual way. But mother neither smiled nor nodded, nor did she take her eyes off mine. I stayed. Suddenly I felt a movement in my heart and said inwardly 3 times, "My heart is opened today." At that moment mother smiled and nodded her head. I got up and went out. Screening my face with the birthday card she had given me, I burst into a sob. I wept for over half an hour. This meeting with the mother has been an unforgettable experience in my life. These are all beautiful experiences. There are also some other sadhaks, but in view of paucity of time, we will close this session with 3 Oms. Oh